Hello and welcome to my channel, The Way What is Truth. Now, I just want to bless all of you in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. It's time for a bit of honesty, right? I hit a spiritual slump a few months back. I've I lost my desire to read the Bible. I went for like a few days or for a few weeks not praying at all, and then all of a sudden I got the urge to pray because I realised that I was drifting too far from God. A few words of wisdom before I carry on any further, and it's that God is not some sort of evil taskmaster who wants to um, burden us too much, to give us burdens that are too much for us to bear. In fact, it's written in the Bible that He never gives us anything to deal with that we cannot handle. Whatever cross He gives us to bear in our lives, throughout our life's journeys, it's nothing that we can't handle. It may be tough, okay, but it's all things that we can handle. Spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, I've been all over the place. At times, just absolutely all over the place. How to describe it? It's like I've struggled with self-pity, depression. At times I felt like a teenager. Yes, I'm a 38-year-old grown man. And yet some days I felt just as immature and as rebellious and as angry and as emotionally immature as I was when I was a teenager. And that's the truth. I'm 38, right? I'm 38 years old. Less than 2 years away from being 40. Yeah. We are all human. In fact, I've seen old people who act more like teenagers, and I've seen teenagers that act more like they're older people. But that's just how it is. We're all different. But you see, we mustn't wallow in self-pity and depression. We should never underestimate the power of God, the power of prayer. He knows us all intimately. Now that brings me on nicely to Psalm 138. And in fact, on top of the page, it says here, God knows us intimately. And the more we draw close to Him, the more He will draw close to us. But if we develop an attitude problem, and it's like with me over the past few months, in fact, for years, on and off, on a fairly regular basis, I've struggled with depression, self-pity, this sort of like pouting attitude as if to say, I look at the younger generation, I see people getting on with their lives, and I think, oh, it's all well and good for them. They come from nice middle class backgrounds, they're in relationships. I look at other people and I think they've been married for years. I've never had a happy relationship. In fact, I only had one short relationship at the age of 34 that lasted for 6 months. And I had a bone or two to pick with her, I'm sure, and she had a few bones to pick with me as well. It goes both ways, you know. Like neither of us were perfect, and me or my ex-girlfriend, neither of us were perfect. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. Before I start babbling, I'm going to read Psalm 138, Psalm of David. And yes, on top of the page, it does say, God knows us intimately. And make sure to leave a comment down below. Share your problems with me and your life struggles. That's what this video is supposed to be about. Right, Psalm 138, a Psalm of David. I will praise you with my whole heart. Before the gods, I will sing praises to you. I will worship toward your holy temple and praise your name. For your loving kindness and your truth. For you have magnified your word above all your name. In the day when I cried out, you answered me and made me bold with strength in my soul. All the kings of the earth shall praise you, O Lord, when they hear the words of your mouth. Yes, they shall sing of the ways of the Lord, for great is the glory of the Lord. Though the Lord is on high, yet he regards the lowly. But the proud he knows from afar. Though I will walk in the midst of trouble, you will revive me. You will stretch out your hand against the wrath of my enemies, and your right hand will save me. The Lord will perfect that which concerns me. Your mercy, O Lord, endures forever. Do not forsake the works of your hands. How wonderful is that? You see, the more we draw close to God, the more we praise Him, worship Him, sing His praises, pray to Him, communicate with Him. You see, these are the areas where I have been spiritually attacked in my life. I lost my enthusiasm to read the Bible, to study the Bible. That's still the case now. Lost my enthusiasm to pray. I've been weighed down with life problems, like not knowing how much longer I've got left to live in this house. I think I've got anywhere from 6 months to a year. I don't know where I'm going to live. All these negative thoughts, feelings and emotions have been bombarding me, my heart and mind. I've been a complete and utter loner. That's putting it mildly. In fact, I would consider myself to be more like a glorified hikikomori. If you don't know what that is, check it out online. It's tough. And yeah, there have been times when I felt like a teenager. I don't know about what you may have gone through in your life in the past, but the way I felt over the past few months has been particularly intense. It's like it's all culminating to something. It feels to me as if I'm going to carry on going down this dark path, so to speak, this slippery slope, snaking around. I'm just not myself, and that's the truth. It may be difficult for you to tell in certain videos. I may leave a good impression, especially when I do my short 60-second or shorter videos. You may think, oh, he's fine, he's got his act together and everything. You don't know what goes off behind the scenes, so pray for me. You don't know what's going off in my heart and mind. But it's enough that God knows. I don't have to talk about everything. I don't have to lay my heart bare about everything. Certain things are just between me and God, and that's where faith comes into it. But it's at times like this, when the going gets tough, Christians get going in Christ. That's how it's supposed to be. Of course, our spiritual adversaries are very good at distracting us, are they not? And I want to put emphasis again on whoever's watching this video to tell me about your problems, life struggles, whatever it is that's been going on in your heart and mind. I don't care what it is. Leave it down in the comment section below and I will respond to the best of my ability in a loving way and try to advise you and give you guidance, although I feel that as of late I'm the one who needs the guidance from God. I'm the one who needs wisdom. I prayed a good few years ago for wisdom from God and He gave it to me. He gave me a lot of wisdom, probably nowhere near, probably like a little speck of wisdom in comparison to what He gave to Solomon. But nonetheless, He gave me wisdom. But we've got a small amount of wisdom, however much wisdom we have or don't have, it's what we do with it that matters. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's what we do with it. We can have such a great understanding of the difference between right from wrong. We can have so much of the Bible written on our hearts. We can know. Satan knows. He knows the difference between right from wrong. He knows the Bible inside and out. But is he righteous? No, he isn't. You see, this is it. We have to be so careful as Christians not to be filled with smugness, complacency, vanity, sinful pride, anything, because really, even the highest achievers in this world, who are we? We're alive for a short period of time, and even the best educated of people, I certainly would not count myself as being amongst the best educated. I don't have a particularly high IQ. It's probably slightly above average. But like I said earlier on, it's what we do with what we have. God gives us the tools. He gives us a certain amount of intellect, ability, knowledge, and the ability to learn things so that we can better serve Him. But it's up to us what we do with it. You see, I have struggled with laziness when it comes to my YouTube channel. Certain videos I could have done better. That's just how it is. You know. Wow. I've never felt more human than over the past few months. Never felt more human than over the past few months. I mean, I've struggled and battled with depression, loneliness, which I've always had since my early 20s, lack of friends, not even one or two good friends for the most part throughout my life, and that. I do think about women from time to time as well. I've got to be honest. I promised myself that I would be 100% down the line in this video. I do think about women. In the past, I've seen women in church, young, beautiful women who I know I'm too old for. Only from time to time, not on a regular basis. But every now and again, I catch a glimpse of someone and I think, wow, she's such a young, beautiful person. I'm 38. I'm not far off 40. And I think to myself, time's passed by. Life has passed me by. And I'm sure that a lot of middle-aged dudes out there feel the same way. I'm telling you, it's the truth. If you see, especially if their lives haven't gone the way they would like them to have gone, if that makes sense to you. We see the younger generation, those in their late teens, early, mid-20s, whatever, people that are getting on with it, going to university, going on holidays, laughing with their friends and family, and I don't know. I mean, no one has the perfect life. We all have a cross to bear. We all have our own personal struggles. And there's an old saying in Italy that not everything that glitters is made of gold. Sometimes people's lives can appear better than what they actually are. And they have problems behind the scenes and stuff. I have never been the envious or jealous type. It's not in my nature to be that way. But nonetheless, I do feel like I've missed out in life for sure. So pray for me. And perhaps you yourself have regrets. You feel like you may have missed out on life. You may feel lonely, depressed, isolated. You may think, you may want to, you may feel like throwing your hands up in the air and thinking, you know what, I've had enough. Nothing ever goes my way. This is how I've been feeling over the past few months. And on and off, well, ever since my early 20s, but we're complicated. How can you talk about your mental and emotional landscape that you've had for the past 18 years in one short little video like this? But, we are human and we have this incredible ability to have empathy for other people, compassion and love, and we can kind of put ourselves in other people's shoes and imagine the frustrations and the vexations and the struggles that we've all had. But in the midst of all this, we need to, you see, this is what Satan wants. He tries to use our problems to drive a wedge between us and God. We need to keep praying. There are things in this life which do not make sense to me to this very day. I've had my own struggles with loneliness, obviously, my isolated life, lack of friends. Also lust. I've been struggling with lust. Yeah, God has set me free from lust, but not entirely to the extent where I couldn't possibly relapse into that again. But yeah, there has been a big spiritual breakthrough there in my life. It's a struggle. It's a real struggle. Now, there was something I wanted to say. I forgot what it was. Let me... We can learn something from everyone in life. Let's never forget this. We may have a friend who's an atheist. We can learn so much from atheists, and atheists can learn so much from us. We can learn something from almost everybody. Obviously, we have to have a discerning spirit to be as wise as serpents, yet as innocent as doves. But yeah, never look your nose down on anybody. Never look down on people and think, I can't learn anything from he or she. They're too young, or they're not educated enough, or whatever. No. Everyone has valuable life experience, no matter who it is we're talking to. We need to have a spirit of humility, not just for other people, and a spirit of forgiveness and love, obviously, and humility. We need to have a spirit of reverence towards God and realise who He is. I just said a little while ago that there are things in this life I don't understand, things that don't make sense to me. I did a video a few months back, which I have put on unlisted now because I didn't really want the public to see it, where I was talking about the differences. Now, this may sound a bit weird to you, but just bear with me. I was talking about the differences between the male and female sexual experience and stuff, like what women experience sexually, 80 to 90% of women, and what the vast majority of men experience, and the huge difference between men and women in that regard, to put it politely. And it's something that I'm trying to accept it. I don't really understand it very well. It's just something that does not make sense to me because I see it as unequal, unbalanced. I'm trying to be at peace with it and think, okay, it's God's will. God wanted things to be this way. There's a reason why he created the male and female body the way they are, right? And the way we are biologically and sexually. I keep telling myself there must be a reason why God made women the way they are sexually and the way their bodies react to sexual stimulus and the way men's bodies are as different as they are. Because I see women as being way up here when it comes to pleasure and all that stuff, and men as way down here. And I just think to myself, how does that make for a balanced and intimately balanced and fulfilling, like emotionally, relationship between one man and one woman when one partner's having all the pleasure, more pleasure, should I say, and the other person isn't, which is usually men, let's face it, right? Anyway, I'm not going to make this video about that, but it's just one of the many things. There are quite a few things which don't make sense to me. The theory of evolution, for example, that's something that I used to reject out of hand. But now I'm thinking to myself, I know that there's a lot of controversy when it comes to radiocarbon dating because it's not as accurate as perhaps it should be. There's a lot of evidence and proof. I've seen many videos which prove that man and dinosaurs live side by side, petroglyphs, cave drawings, that's what petroglyphs basically are, dinosaur and human footprints side by side, crossing over each other like that. In fact, I've got a playlist. It's easy to find on my YouTube channel which shows the evidence that man and dinosaurs live together. And I was never the type to believe that the Earth is just a few thousand years old or anything, but I never believed the Earth was 6,000 or 10,000 years old. But I never used to believe in evolution. I used to very much believe that there was Adam and Eve, perhaps 10 to 13,000 years ago, and before that, the civilizations of God's sons, the angels of God perhaps had civilizations on this earth before the creation of Adam and Eve and throughout the solar system as well. Perhaps millions of years ago, who's to say? But now I'm thinking to myself, maybe the theory of evolution is true. Maybe we do have ape relatives. Perhaps Charles Darwin was right. I mean, when I think about almost 100% of scientists don't dispute it, millions of years of evolution, that is something I used to reject out of hand completely. I used to be, if anything, I was like almost dogmatically against it at one point, especially when I was a teenager. You know how it is. I used to get embroiled in these so-called intellectual debates online, disputing it. But I've learned from my mistakes now. So that's something else which doesn't quite sit right with me. I'm thinking, it may sound strange to think that a Christian doubts the book of Genesis, but I do. Perhaps it's another way that I have been spiritually attacked over the past few months, because I'm questioning that and thinking, okay, the theory of evolution, I used to reject it, but now I feel myself warming up to it more and more and more. I'm still not 100% convinced in the same way that, I don't know, Richard Dawkins is, for example, but it's getting there. I'm almost 100% convinced now that is a more logical, rational and scientific explanation than the book of Genesis is. I know that's a complex topic and I'm not the best educated. I've seen a lot of videos about it. I've seen for and against videos, all sorts, I've seen all sorts. That reminds me, check out my favourite videos off YouTube playlist. There's a lot of interesting videos there. Anyway, before it hits the 20-minute mark, I'm going to end the video. Pray for me and I'll pray for you. Tell me about your problems down below. Let's not stop praising God. It's all about God. That's what this channel is supposed to be about. I've told you a little bit about my life, my struggles, my frustrations, my vexations. Pray for me and I'll pray for you. And let's not underestimate the power of God or what he can do. And let's draw close to him, because by drawing close to him, he draws closer to us. And let's never forget that these things are sent to try us. Have you ever heard of that saying? I'm sure you have. Bye-bye and God bless.